A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks to all our active patrons who have contributed a lifetime of $100 or more to reach Garuk Dong level status.
Here is the list of those special patrons in order of contributions.
If you would like to support our show, check out the Commander Smiths at patreon.com. Ooh, welcome to the Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 275. And yes. What do we have on this little holiday weekend, extended weekend, and all that stuff? What'd you do today? I mean,
well,
I guess, what are we doing?
We know that a
lot
lot of people are out driving for Memorial Weekend.
Look at
and
you. Look at
wink.
You.
Yeah,
Look
and
at
this
you.
is, the start of summer, and so we decided we wanted to talk about vehicles. Not for that reason specifically. I just came up with that.
I was going to say, well, I'm impressed. Like, I was like,
so,
did you have that written down as like, hey, I'm going to transition this in? That's pretty. It's like, doing this for like 5 years or something, and we're finally getting these every once in like 10 episodes, good transitions. We might have a good transition into our tournament as well.
Right. Wink. Yeah. So we're doing a tournament about the vehicles as well. I have a list of about 20 that I would pick from, and Adam says he's in the 16 to 17 range. So hopefully I pick all of his and he picks all of his and he runs out.
So this is the funny thing is, this is starting to turn into like draft, like when fantasy football, because I have my sheets and I'm like, okay, this is where I have my one and I'm like writing it all down. I was like, God, this is just like drafting for fantasy football stuff. So, but yeah, there's about 90. I think when I was looking it up, there's like 93. Something. Yeah, 93 vehicles to choose from. A lot more than I was thinking. So. But some of them are pretty garbage, but there are some pretty
It's got a huge boost in the last year with Kamigawa and then the Warhammer set. So
yeah,
that was my observation.
Yeah, so it should be you want to spoil your best one again?
Adam gets to choose first again since he won the last tournament. So I guess he's saying what is the best one.
No, it's only when we do our top 10 he'll give away the first hey, that might be on my list there. I've always liked Cultivator Caravan Ramsey. I thought it was Wrencheye there for a second. I looked at the thing there. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorites that I don't know. It might make it. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. You're being very cagey. You don't want me to snipe anything.
I know.
It's on my list, and I'm coming for you.
One ever.
No, it's not.
So yeah, we got that. We do not have a staple versus. We will announce the results of last week's staple versus. It might surprise you. And then Stump the Smith Savant this week is from Ryan W. from the Discord. He is going to try to stump you. We have both the Karn in foil, the new Karn in foil, and then the proxy of Urabrask in foil as well. This is week 6. So
if I get this, we're adding another one, huh?
Since we've changed it to the 10,000 EDH rec decks and every 3 weeks, this would be the very first time we would hit 3. No pressure.
Oh,
No pressure.
great.
Just saying.
Great. Well, I fold like a good deck of cards. So,
and luckily it's at the end of the cast now, so that you get enough lube in you. Not sorry. Let me rephrase that. Adult
what she
lube.
said.
Oh, that doesn't work either.
hold
Alcohol
on.
lube.
Hold on. Here you go, AJ. Could have went with a vehicle lube, you know, a lube job or Jiffy
okay.
Lube
You're
or
really
lube
trying
job
to-
sounds disgusting too. God.
I want one of those.
Men, we're just disgusting.
Yeah, so I didn't I know I said last week I was gonna go research and try to find. I have this on my notes, that's why the only reason I'm bringing it up. Remember, I was like, I'm gonna go back and try to find this and that, and then I looked at it and
Did
I was
you?
like, that is way too much work.
Okay.
Maybe when I'm on vacation and I'm like sitting there, but then it really won't be
Why would you do
relevant.
that on
I know.
vacation?
Listen to us on
It's
vacation.
better just to argue and fight about it.
Yeah.
That's
and not remember and then argue that I do until you get audio proof
Yeah.
and you're like, oh yeah, you just wasted
Right.
3 hours trying to find that, so who's the sucker?
Right.
So that's why I kind of do that. I don't think I have anything else. Was there anything fun Memorial Day, you kind of went and visited your brother. Was that the whole weekend or was it today, or you stayed over?
Oh, we
last
went
night?
down Sunday and stayed sleepover with the kids, and into Monday. It was my brother's birthday today. Happy birthday, Grant.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, he got sick last night. We had a real good time, if you know what I mean.
Oh really? You got him
No, he had like a beer and a half, and then I think it's because he's a clean eater, and so he had like we had like tacos, so he had like barbacoa with like fried small tortilla tacos. So he had like grease in them, and then he had like an ice cream cake from Flappin' Doodles, and he just had junk.
So what you're
And I
telling
think
me
he
is
just had so much junk.
he got
to
old
him.
man sick. Did he puke?
I think he's not used to it. He's just. I just don't think he's way too lean, too healthy.
What you're telling me is he doesn't go to the Minnesota State Fair and indulges
Right.
in all those kinds of foods.
No, he does not.
Yeah, he's missing out.
He does not,
man.
sir.
So did he end up puking off of all of that?
It sounds like he did.
Oh,
It was at night, and little Lowry's not very good at sleepovers yet. He was just like, we tried to get him down by like 9 and 11 o'clock. It's like the 7th time he's come out. I was like, finally, Lowry, you're sleeping downstairs. I'll sleep on the like couch next to you. And as we're, lights are off, and he's going, what can I do? I'm so bored. And I'm like, man, you need to sleep.
Sleeping, you asshole.
I am so tired.
That's the thing is,
And then he's like,
the kids that are at
Go ahead.
this. No, I was gonna say that this age they're terrible for sleep. We did sleepovers, and in our head, like I'm like, oh yeah, we were doing it when we were like
no, we
4
were
or 5. No, we were
we were
quite a bit
terrible
older.
forever. We
Well-
never got good at it. So other than we just were able to do things on our own. But yeah, and after that, he was just like, I basically turned into a race. I was like, you better fall asleep because I'm going to start snoring and you're going to get annoyed by it.
That is the
And he's
thing.
like, you're right. And he went to bed like super quick.
That is the thing when you go on like a road trip or you're staying with somebody that like my brother is an example of this. If I'm in the same room as him, it is a rate, and I suck at going to sleep. But if I don't go to sleep before that dude, I'm not gonna go to sleep because he's just
Right.
like
Right.
he has apnea, whatever, just crazy stuff. So really quick, because you brought up the cousins and sleeping and all that stuff.
Okay.
I was reminded of this story over the weekend, or maybe it was his birthday the last weekend. So the funny thing is, I don't know, somehow we got onto it. We were talking with our neighbors and we were talking about like sleepovers and all that, or maybe it was our first time having sex. I think that's what it is. No, this sounds weird that I just intertwined those, but
It does, but I know where you're going.
hear
there.
me out. Because
They
when
just might not.
when we were cousins, or when we are cousins, when we were younger, we'd have the sleepovers, and of course, all of our conversations at night, towards once we got older, were about, oh my
older.
god, I can't wait to have sex. Oh, kiss her. Like we were nowhere close to like having sex, right?
Right. I wasn't. I was very far away from.
So the funny thing is, when I lost my virginity, one of the first things I thought of was, oh my god, I can't wait to have another sleepover so I could tell the cousins. And then we never had a sleepover again. I remember because I think we had already not been doing sleepovers for at least like 6 months to a year. But I remember I lost my virginity. I was like, oh God, cousins, we got to do this cousins
tell
sleepover thing.
people.
And I'm going to tell them like, this is what we've been waiting for, blah, blah, blah. And then we never did it again. So this is me telling you
that's
now.
not fully true that we didn't do a sleepover, but after that, like once we turned 21 or like
And
started
that's not when
drinking.
I had sex. That's
No, I know that's when I had sex, but it's that's but I'm just saying when you're drinking,
right.
like passed out at each other, that's still a sleepover. It just
Right.
men don't admit that. You're still sleeping over at people's places when you're just passing out.
Yeah. So,
Because I mean, like, remember that time when we were at one of your friends in St. Paul and we like,
yeah, we did. We
all slept sideways on a bed on the ground, and
didn't. Wasn't it me?
you didn't tell us those stories.
Yeah, I didn't because we were all too drunk to. Wasn't it Jake that like pulled his pants to his ankles? One of the cousins.
Right.
It was either Jake or
No. That was the weird thing. I don't know what order it was, but Jake had his pants all the way down to his ankles because he was hot, and then who was next to him had it at their knees. The other person had it like unbuttoned, and then the last person had it fully on. Like it was a prank. It was very strange graph.
It's like when kids or people line themselves up in a line. Yeah, I think Caitlin did take a picture of that.
They did. And then because that was a night that again somebody hopped. There was a random grocery cart. Somebody hopped in it, and we were pushing them down the sidewalk and caught a huge lip, and we like over the top of it. I think I was the pusher.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one. It must have been Jake in there, or
it was that same night. Yeah, I don't think you were in there. It was either Grant or Jake, but that was
hence why the pants were around the ankles. It's
right. Nothing sexual, just hot. Just hot. Nothing's happened.
Yeah, nothing's happened. We were just telling. I was sad that I didn't get to tell cousins.
I'm
that
okay
I had
with
sex.
that. I'm okay with that. It's like a weird conversation.
I mean, like so good. That's what I wanted to sing, but that song wasn't out then. But you know, what I'm talking about the Andy Samberg song. I think it's Andy Samberg.
It didn't exist at that point, but
Cindy said I had to tell that story, and it just reminded me when you were talking about cousin sleepover, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now you reminded me. I got to tell you that. All right. Okay. So what? We wasted 12 minutes. It's not 20 minutes.
That's not bad. Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else on my list. No notes. Lowry fail. Nope, I didn't do that. So yeah, I'm good. I didn't do anything this weekend. We just hung around here.
No, that's all right. That's all right. You had a good birthday week.
Yeah, that was nice. Cindy took off the entire week, which is a big surprise. So we went golfing and went frisbee golfing and went biking. Went for like a 15-mile bike ride. Went walking. What else did we do? Well, adult stuff because there's no kids, so you know all that stuff.
But it's not a sleepover. Do not tell me about that.
I couldn't wait. What are you drinking, Larry? Since I can see you're getting a beer there.
I'm gonna crack into a Lake Monster apricot goose sour ale. And I was drinking something else, but I had already talked about that one.
RoboCop. At least I arrived just at the right time for the virginity sleepover content.
That's all you needed. That was most of it.
Yeah. You know what we haven't had in a long time? Just kind of hit me is those breakdowns where both of us are buzzed enough and something happens where we're crying laughing. Have we had one of those live?
It's been a while.
That's weird though. Like, isn't it since we've gone live? I think because I don't feel like we're
professionals
any
now.
different. Yeah, it's we have people actually watching. When it's like recording, it's like we just lose our shit, and then we left it in. It was pretty funny, but it's kind of funny that we haven't had that in a while. But anyways, all right. I'm drinking Nordy's because I have a shit ton of this. Well, I got a bunch of it for my birthday. And I bought a bunch. So SmithCon, get ready.
Oh, good for you.
SmithCon is less than 2 weeks away. Get ready. You guys are going to have some of this there. You're going to have some of this Malort there. There's all these sorts of stuff and lots of magic. So, all right. You got my timer?
Yes. Now I do. Just go. You're saving time.
You You can support the Commander Smiths by becoming a patron. $1 or more gets you into the Discord. If you so choose, you can go up to $5. You can go to $10, $15, $20. The higher you move on those, you can get proxies if you so choose each month. Side note to all you people that have been getting proxies and maybe you missed last month or whatever, there's some postal issues. So some things got kicked back. The Minneapolis Postal Service is sometimes they're a little finicky at this point. So some of them got kicked back. So some of them are going out. We're about to work on this last month, so May. So those are all coming up. But anyways, how you move on the tiers, you can get foil proxies. Like I showed you the Urbrass. That is the foil proxy. That is a higher tier. I think that's the rare and mythic tier, I think is where you get that. Or maybe it be, or uncommon. I don't know. Whatever. You have to look at the tiers.
No, not uncommon.
So rare and mythic. You can get foil proxies each month if you so choose. If you forget months, you can pick them later months. You can, what is it? Not acquire, build up and get them all at once.
Accumulate.
There we go. I knew it was an A word. It's, I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. But anyways, okay, so that's a financial way to support the show. The other way you can support the show financially is to donate on these live casts. You can do the Malort, see the Malort shirt. You can make us take Malort shots, regular shots, jelly beans and stuff like that are on the other live stuff. The regular jelly beans we can take in this. Just hot beans are not accepted.
Takes too long.
Yes.
Takes too long.
YouTube is the free way to support us. You can just subscribe there, watch our videos. We had a lot of videos go out last week. So actually, Lowry did some box cracking not box cracking, but buy list cracking from Card Kingdom last week. You also had a spotlight. What was your spotlight again? Your deck?
Shalai and Halar.
Shalai and Halar. So you have the spotlight there. We also introduced, we finally are moving on to the next step of our spotlight stuff. This has always been in the plan, but we have the final version. So I actually did the final version of how Tom the Bomb Voltron turned out. And then also did about 40 minutes of goldfishing it, a separate video. So this is kind of the 3-step process. We really wanted we have a 4th step when we're playing them live on camera. So there's really 4 steps to each one of these decks. So you can check out all of those. We also have curated MTG, which happens twice a week. Do you remember what your curated MTG was this week, or do you want to just talk about what's going to be tomorrow?
Oh, I'm not planning for tomorrow.
Okay. What did you have for Saturday?
It was something. It was a green card. Green aura. And then whenever your opponents cast a creature spell, you get to put a 1/1 counter on the creature that it's aura'd to.
Oh. So
Primitive hunger? Something hunger.
Something.
I could check it out. I don't know.
So yeah, the biggest thing on the curateds is to make sure you give those a watch and a like. That helps those things spread. Another place you can see the shorts is to go over to TikTok. We are 1 follower away on TikTok from hitting 1,000 there. So TikTok was not that far behind YouTube, but if you have TikTok, subscribe, or I guess follow us there to make us get over that 1,000. Let's see, that's YouTube stuff. This week, do we have anything for this week? Are you doing any spotlight or anything? We're getting close to SmithCon and all that. So once SmithCon kind of wraps up.
In the next 2 weeks, I'll probably I'll be aiming to do like a switcheroo on all of my decks. So that's probably going to be in 2. And then that's primary. And I might do like a Z and D, Zimone and Dina, like
final.
What you did with like final thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I might do a gold fishing through, because I like how it's playing through right now. It feels really good. And so that's kind of
the cool thing is the gold fishing, it really helps you show like the feel, like if it gets the flow of the deck. Like if the deck is maybe too light on one thing or another, the thing you don't get is the interaction. Obviously, you're just playing it out. You won't be able to remove stuff and all that. How much time?
20 seconds.
Okay. Well, the last 2 are easy. You can go to Twitter as well. You can follow us there. It's Twitter, it's garbage, but we do things there.
It sucks.
It's whatever. We hated it before it was cool to hate. That's what I'm going to say every week. But we do post every video that we do there. I have not posted the new stuff there yet, but you can direct message us there, or you can direct message us by shooting an email at commandersmiths@gmail.com. I would normally say that's where you can send the suggestions for this, but now we are moving on to our main topic. You don't have your button. I need to get that working a little better because it sounds awful.
It sounds good on the audio.
Does it? Well, then that's all that mattered. I mean, the video stuff is fine. Yeah,
that's all that matters. But here you go, AJ.
What Lowry is saying to YouTubers right now is he doesn't care about you, is what he's trying to say.
That's true. If you cared, you would subscribe more.
How can you subscribe more if you're already subscribed? Unsubscribe, subscribe. Oh, wait, I get it. Get another account. Subscribe again.
Right. I was hoping that it'd be more like a Super Troopers, but it's like, I'm already subscribed. I can't subscribe anymore. Yep.
These schnozberries
That's
taste like schnozberries. All right. Okay. So what are we talking about here? Let's get the vehicles up. Let's get what vehicles
what is this?
Hold up. Why
are you doing this?
I don't know.
Do you just stare?
For Lord of the Rings.
In college, when Lord of the Rings came out, Adam downloaded a
hell yeah, I did.
What was it? It was a recorded copy of the movie.
Yeah, well,
and you would fall asleep to it every night.
Yes, that's why I've seen that movie so many times. Is they had
365 times. It was ridiculous.
It's over 50 times. At least the first half of the Fellowship. It's at least 50. It's probably higher than that. But for you old folks that are like Lowry and I, when you got to college, they had Kazaa and Morpheus as you're downloading illegally platforms.
I didn't do any of that.
Yeah, because you're too good.
I tried LimeWire once. I was not willing to wait for that. And I was like, fuck it. I'll listen to silence.
So I downloaded the shit out of everything. I got free stuff all over the place. I was one of those, yes. And that my freshman year of college, Lord of the Rings came out. And then someone got a hold of the pirated copy. Like a lot of times you'd get somebody recording it in the theater. So you'd see like people walking over and all that. This was the one that they sent out to the award ceremony people. So every about 15 minutes, this banner would come across the bottom saying, this is for the awards, blah, 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 blah. And it was DVD quality. Like it was amazing. So, but every night, I would pass out, because it's a partying or whatever. And it was always at the part where Gimli is hitting the ring with his axe and his face is. And so I'd be passed out and I'd wake up and look at my computer and just Gimli. Ah! So I almost should get a poster of that. And never mind. I was one of the douches that did the whole poster on your ceiling thing. Yeah, that was me. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't hang any. I saw it in movies where people were cool. Yeah.
Where people were cool. Yeah, that was they weren't naked because I had a roommate but it was, it was bikini stuff. It was the whole douchebag thing to do. I also had a Lamborghini poster. Like it's just like
a Lamborghini.
Oh
my god,
that wasn't on my.
You were so cool.
Lamborghini is the first big word I learned to spell in elementary. So like that one that sticks in my head. LAMBORGHINI.
I still don't know how to spell Lamborghini.
LAMBORGHINI. Lamborghini.
I learned how to spell Mississippi in elementary school. That's where I was.
Wait.
Oh, good.
That was a big word.
I'm proud of you, Lowry.
Thanks.
Okay, so
they held me in for 5th grade recess because I wasn't reading well.
Do you remember when I was like, "This is probably gonna be a shorter episode," and then we don't talk about we don't talk about magic cards for the first 25 minutes of this damn.
What you need to do is stop predicting the length of a show prior or telling people what it is.
Oh,
That's
shit.
not.
All
Just
right.
have no expectations. That's what I have.
Lowered expectations.
All right. Okay, you're right. What are we doing here?
All right. So
What are we doing?
I feel like, okay, so I guess let's just open this discussion up. And we can
Mhm.
include chat in this too. I think vehicles are probably one of the like least used. Like, how often do you see vehicles in games? Like,
Right. Never.
planeswalkers, you see planeswalkers.
How many times do you consider them?
Right.
You personally.
The one that was mentioned earlier, the Cultivator Caravan, that one I loved right away, but I tried to fit it in decks and then it always would get the cut, you know. But
Did that get killed off in the first round of like 3 mana rock? 3 CMC mana rock?
I don't have
It was the first or second round that I got cut. Like, it didn't make it past that.
Yeah, I don't think it made it past. It didn't make it past the first round. Otherwise, I remembered that.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Ted was going to make it. He just said, changed off the Celtics being trounced by the Heat. Dang, I was I was like,
bummer.
Ted's probably not going to be on because he's going to be watching the Celtics play. Sorry, buddy. We know how that
Sorry,
feels. I know you have had many of championships.
entire life.
It's Minnesota.
Right. I don't feel
just
bad
loses.
for Ted
Yeah,
at
not
all.
at all.
At all.
But yeah, okay. So vehicles, why don't people play them? Why should they play them? Like, what? Let's first start with why don't people play them? Let's get to that part. You know, like why do you personally not end up putting them in decks? Like, what is it that either you just overlook them, or is it that you just don't like the mechanics that are built in with them? Is there any reason why you don't, or is it just you just
me personally?
right?
I don't like it because, and I probably, you know, this segment is making me kind of think of why, you know, those questions of what's the problem. And there's always going to be those utility creatures that you don't want to block or attack with. And so that's where I'm trying to add in cards that allow me to use them some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't consider vehicles in that realm, but I probably should. And that, so like, add in cards that allow you to tap them for mana, because you have creatures that you're not going to use a ton of, or like for that attack and blocking scenario, unless you need to chump with them. But like, there are commanders that you don't want to attack or block with, and maybe they're just there for a static ability. And so for me, that's what I'm. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is I loathe the idea of giving up a creature that I've already paid mana into to have a vehicle do something. If that makes sense. So I'm paying. Smuggler's Copter is probably the worst example because it's very efficient and cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them, if I'm going to pay 4 mana or 5 mana and they do nothing, that's a hard investment.
Right.
Like, it's hard to have an enchantment that won't do anything until the next turn.
Let's see if I can pull up a different one that's a little bit.
Having creatures that, like, you want them to have ETBs or work with other cards. And vehicles don't really work with anybody else. Yeah, so this is where they're coming in, where Reaver Titan ETBs, is that right?
Yeah, whenever
no, that's an
attacks.
attack. Yep. And so even that, like, that's probably fine, but if you're paying 7 mana, you have
it does nothing.
Zendikar.
It does nothing until
right.
you crew it, basically, is what it's doing.
This compared to Avenger of Zendikar is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's hard to compete against creatures that have ETBs or static effects, and I think they've started to try and kind of figure it out, because a little bit of the problem is, like, Luda Scooter, like, ruins standard.
Yeah.
It's really cheap and efficient. It was 2 to come out, 1 to crew. And so if you don't have that value, or it's too expensive or cheap, like, it's not going to end up being good enough. And so it's hard to have an attack trigger where you have to wait.
So this is one that, spoiler alert, this might be one of my number one pick at this point. So just let you know. But Unlicensed Hearse it's newer. It's from New Capenna, so last year. So we have it's a 2-drop. It comes in. The reason that this one is so highly used is because you tap it and you're removing people's graveyard. You're taking 2 cards out of their graveyard. And then the crew part, like, you don't even need that. Like, really, it's just removing the graveyard. And then the bonus is it's as big as how many cards it exiled. So that's why I think you're onto something that recently they've been making more vehicles do things that don't have to be necessarily crewed, a secondary ability thing. But the older vehicles are just really based on the crewing. And if there's a board wipe before, the nice thing, they don't get killed unless they are a creature at that time. But if you're playing it,
that's a big bonus.
Yeah,
that I was going to eventually talk about. But that was when vehicles first kind of came out. There was a vehicles deck, and you would run board wipes, and you'd be able to wipe the board, and then you have some tokens that can accrue, and then you're just kind of winning the game. And I watched like an unbanned version. It might have been on Star City back when they would go like, in Modern, if you unbanned Eldrazi shit and the vehicles shit, and vehicles whooped up on Eldrazi. And it was crazy because Eldrazi was a menace for Modern. And, that's very different than Commander, but it kind of shows you how people are able to use vehicles in that kind of thing. Like, maybe you have lands that can turn into creatures that can crew easier after a wrath, or you have enchantments that create tokens that you're allowed, crew. That's the part, is like, you need creatures to crew.
Right.
For the most part, there are cards that allow, beyond that.
They have been doing a little bit different stuff here and there with them.
Right.
But yeah.
And so I think something like Unlicensed Hearse is perfect, because 2 to come into play, and then it taps to exile 2 cards from the graveyard. It's not the best graveyard to hate. It's not amazing by any means.
No, but it's getting rid of threats in the graveyard. It's recursion, but then it does it right away. Over time, this can turn into a beast. If it comes out early enough, it's turn 2 and you get this out. Boop, just start removing stuff here and there as their fetches go there. And then by turn like 6 or 7.
They're both relevant.
Right.
That's the part. And if you have to make, if a vehicle to me doesn't have a relevant, like if it has a static bit, like they did with Planeswalkers a bit too. And so I don't know if you want to go into that realm, or maybe the activated part and the ETB part. You don't want cards kind of like existing in the same space a little bit. Creatures are everywhere. But
I guess
but you don't, enchantments need to feel different than artifacts, right? And vehicles need to feel different than planeswalkers and spells and all that kind of stuff. They're a mix of artifacts and creatures. And that's what they probably, that's what they're trying to do. And so the question is either they started out overcosted and then they undercosted a couple that became really good. So it's probably really hard to balance for standard.
Right.
But make good enough for everything else. And they don't necessarily care about everything else.
So I guess my thing with vehicles is why they don't make it in my decks very often is typically because of theme wise. Like, where does this fit in? Like I do have, remember I was excited. I wanted to make a vehicle deck. I'm like, I'm waiting. And then Magda came along, and that was perfect because you're crewing, you can tap your dwarves and all that stuff. I think I ended up with a handful, but not as many as I was planning because it wasn't a vehicle deck. Right. It didn't turn in, it turned into a dragon, artifact deck, whatever. Bullshit deck. It's fun. But anyways, a lot of the vehicles, like you said, I think they need to soup them up a little bit more, or I know you're saying the static ability. I think the static abilities would help them, honestly, to be able to be used more. This one I could see using, but I'm not going to put it in it. Like it's a good card, but are you going to plop this in any deck? I don't think so, unless it.
Are we talking about unlicensed hearse?
Yeah, unlicensed hearse.
So like example, I bought up a bunch of them from my card store that I go to for 50 cents. Because I don't care about standard, but I was like, oh, this is really cool. As graveyard hate, I was building Umbris basically at the time. Maybe, yeah. And I tried to fit it in, and I was like, oh, this is way too slow for Umbris. And so maybe it's something that works somewhere else. But like the question ends up being is it's not good graveyard hate.
Yeah.
In compared to what it's doing. And later on, like it can survive a wrath and then go and do something if you have a creature. And so I think it's hard because it's 2 costs, right? It's your CMC to have it in play, and then it's your crew. And can you go back to like Reaver Titan? So that's like 7 to come down, and then it's 4 to crew. That 4 to crew is not awful, but you have to wait, right? Because if you turn in a creature, it has
it won't attack.
Summoning sickness.
It's summoning sickness, yeah.
And so do you think you could fix it if the vehicles did not, like they all had haste? So you could plop it down, like pay 7 or 10 or whatever, and then you can crew it right away for that effect.
At 7 and a crew 4, you would think that, yeah, having haste would be pretty nice.
Right. Because like you're giving up a creature or 2 to crew it. You're paying 7 mana, which is roughly your turn. And should you be waiting to be able to attack with it? That's the question. Is like it's just too slow.
Mm-hmm. Well, 7 is casting a spell at 7 should be not game winner, but you should be turning heads.
It's the threat,
right?
And if this came down for a turn, and then you're like, okay, a chumpable 10/10. That's going to deal everybody 5 damage.
That's a lot, though.
Okay.
Doing 5 to everybody. That is
right. But they gave up a creature or 2 as well. So, like, is it better if they just attacked with those creatures and did something else with that 7? And I missed who said it in the in the comments, but there's generally just something better that's closer on theme or stronger than what the vehicle is doing at almost every part of the game. So it needs to, in my opinion, it needs to be okay at both.
So here's some of the the notes that I wrote down that I think vehicles would work well in. I think they would work well in your meat forest, your whatever, your decks that have tokens that aren't going to be necessarily able to run through decks and stuff. But like if you had 4/1/1s crew this one easily, now you have a 10/10 that deals 5 damage. I think token decks.
But you still need But can you name me one? Like in an elf or a goblin deck, you'd rather just have an elf or a goblin.
I was just more thinking
in that
like
spot.
I was more thinking white red Boros stuff. Like if you're doing soldiers or if you're just doing tokens and stuff. I see what you're saying. You're saying you'd rather have a goblet. You'd like to keep the tribal going. But what I'm saying is
right. So what's the synergies that the vehicles have going? Generally, not a lot, unless you're building a vehicle deck.
Yeah.
And you can see like in some of the stuff where they're building, there's a red, white, 2 colorless dude. I think I talked about him in my favorite Legends whenever it came out in the last year.
It's
like
your favorite
1 to crew, 1 to equip. Like it's working with equipment or auras as well. Because like if you just it's in that aura equipment vehicle realm where they know that you're not going to load up on it. Like you can only have so many equipment in a deck. You can only have so many auras in a deck, and you can only have so many vehicles in a deck because there's no way that you can have a vehicle. I understand that people will be like, oh, my vehicle deck has 30. But you're not going to have a vehicle deck with 30 vehicles in it.
Right. You need
because number one, there aren't how many caravans are there? There's one.
Yeah.
There's only one vehicle that makes mana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd have to do something more.
Mm-hmm.
How many vehicles draw cards? 2, 3? You know what I mean? They're not doing anything when it comes to like furthering your game.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes, so you have to have your mana, you have to have your draw, and if you after that you can have like 4 vehicles in there, and then how many remove spell?
Are
like,
you
removal?
Are you
They don't
saying
fit anywhere.
that vehicles should not exist, or they should only exist in vehicle decks?
No. I don't think a vehicle deck is really
Good.
appropriate. Right. I don't think it's something that you really do. I think they need to look at it.
Where is it?
I think they need to look at it as a utility card. So they should be doing something within a deck, not necessarily be the deck.
Damn it. I thought I had build a better deck on one of my top buttons to hit. Wasn't it in there? Oh, it is.
I would just say build a better
there
deck.
It is. There it is. Build a better deck. I didn't listen to anything you just said there because I was looking for the button. So
I can't see who's saying this, but like,
oh, it's Jeff.
I think we got to this to the same point. Is it's a utility card, and so what vehicle is doing better utility than something that just purely is there for utility? Like, they're saying Vidalcan Orrery. So again, why wouldn't if I wanted to do Looter Scooter, why wouldn't I just put in a draw spell instead of having to involve creatures into it to make it potentially happen?
I guess,
or because they can still die in combat too.
Right. But the thing is it is saving your creature in a way. It gives you an extra, I guess, chump blocker. I keep doing the quotes with my fingers, but that is like one of the benefits, but is it a big enough benefit to put in your deck to make it one of your 99? That's the hard part, is you run into cuts, and like these are easily the ones that get cut because it's like, unless it's really fitting with the theme. Magda does work in there, like, but I did cut a lot of them. Originally, that deck was supposed to be all vehicles. That was the way I tapped the dwarves down, and instead it turned into, I think, 5. I don't remember exactly, but it's single digits. Now there are, I want to probably see more vehicle commanders because we got a couple of them with the New Capenna. Is it New Capenna or no? Is it Kamigawa? It was Kamigawa.
Both of them had some good amount of
Like I'd like to see a little bit more of that, but how do you fix these? Do you don't want static abilities on your I think that would be a good ad. You're saying
it depends on what you're trying to make it feel like, right? I think that's the part is, if you have static abilities on there, why aren't they just artifacts?
Well, okay, so what if it did something more of like the static ability happened when it was crewed, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, or maybe you take
That's
away
a good point.
The static ability when it's crewed, like one or the other.
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily because you could. How about this? You have a trigger attached to the crewing, and so even though it has summoning sickness, you don't have to attack with it. The crewing part is what triggers it, and so when it comes down, you can crew it. Trigger happens.
Yeah,
and then the next turn on somebody else's turn, when it's back to a vehicle, can crew it again. Like that could be interesting part of it, and like working that in. Does that make sense? So whenever it becomes crewed, do 2 damage to an opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'd like that.
So,
not based on the attack, because most of them are all on the attack. Like it's
right. A lot of it's on the attack.
Yeah.
And again, you could have it on the block, like Luda Scooter, and most of them don't. It's a lot of attacking. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna pay 7 mana, Reaver Titan, come down and do nothing.
Right.
That's hard to do with 7 mana or 6 mana or 5 mana. When you start getting in the 4 mana, that's probably starting to sound okay to me. But then you're getting into, okay, what am I eating into if it's not a utility card?
Yeah.
And so like if it's just dealing damage, 1 damage for 4 mana whenever it attacks, like what's going on here?
I agree. I think if it was on an attack and a block, which doesn't make sense, like thematically, like shouldn't it be on the block too? It's like you're crewing it. Why does it have to get the ability on the attack? You could get it on the block, but I don't know if I have.
Yeah, if they made it on the attack or block whenever they're doing the attack part, I think it'd be much more
better.
interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see.
It's Jeff again.
Who's making
Jeff again.
Okay. And I kind of agree with this too. There isn't a lot of support. It's relatively new, right? It came out in Kaladesh, which is a few years old now. That's more than 5, but you only have 90 cards that are vehicles. And so it doesn't have a ton of years in the game. You're probably I think it's like 6 or 7 years old at this point, but they don't have a lot. There aren't a lot of cards that are like whenever you crew or whenever you attack with a vehicle or make this vehicle a creature, or, there are some. And so but that's mostly in red, white. So if you have like a blue vehicle deck, like it's just not going to work.
Right.
You don't have any real support there, or green, or like whatever they're trying to do with it. It's probably a red, white card, which is again where auras and equipment are. And those are kind of hard decks to make. Like they're pushing really powerful cards that are only okay. And so I think, again, it's really hard for them to balance standard wise into not being powerful enough for everything else. So we're talking about why we're not playing it. Do you want to talk about why you would play it? You got anything there? Because I don't really have anything.
I was gonna say I've kind of gone over my notes at this point. My big thing was that you can use it instead of your creatures dying, but why? We've already talked about that. Why would you just throw that in there to? Right. I think that what I said though is like if you had a specific deck that was built on tapping on, having your creatures tap and do things like Magda does. There are other commanders that do that. This is fantastic for that because you can over tap them. It doesn't have to be exactly 4 in this case where it's crew 4. You could tap 16 and get all your creatures tapped and get their ability to whatever happens. So Magda, every time a dwarf taps, you get a treasure token. So
there's solid tap enablers.
Right.
But how how many decks
them as a crew
doing that?
Right. There isn't a crap ton.
You don't care.
But I did also put tokens. Like I was thinking of Assemble the Legion type of thing where you're continuing to get 1/1/1/1/1/1. If you're doing stuff like that, where it's just little guys that isn't necessarily tribal focused, could be interesting if you went with that, with making vehicles and stuff. But I think they just need to make them better.
Yeah.
They just don't. They never make it. Like Cultivated Caravan.
Yeah.
That one's been the closest to making it in a deck, and that was early on because I was trying to force it. Since then, it doesn't make it. It's nice. It's on paper a 3-drop mono rock that gives you any color, and then can turn into a 5/5. Right. Sure, that sounds really good, but
at least it makes it interesting to think about. And there just aren't enough vehicles that are there.
Similar thing, and this is off topic a little bit, kind of similar. But do you use man lands? Like, you play 2 colors.
Just a few. Just a few.
They don't make it in decks, unless it fits in with what you're doing. Like I have the black blue one for Eureka because it turns into an unblockable creature, fits in the theme,
Right. I do the infect one. I have that in 3 or 4 decks right now.
Infect?
Yeah. It's a game ender in some decks. It's good, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is it's kind of a similar thing. Those could go in every deck, they in the same thought process. It's a creature, but we still don't use those. You'd rather have something more efficient that comes into play untapped and whatever. So I think it's efficiency.
I mean, there's less of those, but I'd much rather use them because they have the utility of being
one or the
a
other
land.
color. Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
and
this,
so like
remove
the
all
question
the
is
creatures, and then you have nothing you can do with this card except
right.
it is an artifact. So I guess artifact theme decks could work if you're.
But why play them if it has to be an attack theme? So I think the ones that we're talking about a little bit is like Caravan when we're talking about Hearse. They're artifacts that do a thing not super efficient, but like 3 mana is respectable. It's at least thinkable on playing in a casual. And if you're casual, you're definitely playing. You can,
Yeah.
right? And Hearse, so an activated ability that you can do right away because it's an artifact. And then something else when you're crewing it and just being a 5/5 like Caravan or however, like Hearse. And so like have it be kind of a threat. It doesn't have to be an amazing threat by any means, but I think it just has to be semi good or respectable at what it's trying to do as potentially an activated ability. Because I don't even know if I really like the ETB ones that exist.
There's a couple that
I don't.
halfway
Yeah,
decent.
there's a handful, and so I think if you treat them more like an activated ability on an artifact, that is okay, respectable, and then it can be a vehicle. I think that's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they added in activation off of crewing, like,
yep,
you're activating your transformer, it turns into something, And
well, that's not how they did the Transformers either. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I would think of is when you're crewing something, you're turning this thing on and it does its thing. It doesn't have to be on the attack or whatever. But okay, we are gonna go long if we don't do our draft because we have
I'm good.
So speaking of our these vehicles, and we probably didn't convince you to use vehicles, but maybe we will here because we're going to talk about 16. We're going to draft 16 different vehicles for the tournament. Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
All right, I cut it off there. I was even thinking about recutting that, but I think as soon as it would say, let's get ready to rumble, I think immediately we would be no longer monetized on
right,
that.
yeah.
So it's like,
get rid of Buffer.
Nope. Okay.
Mr. Buffer.
So we have 93 different vehicles to choose from. Since I won the last tournament, the winner of the tournament gets the first draw or draft pick in this.
Seems fair.
I'm gonna grab
Seems
another
fair.
beer.
Totally.
All right, got my next beer ready to go.
One thing I do want to say about the vehicles, I think they're still positive for the game.
Yes.
I'm not saying
get rid of them. No.
I think they're great flavor wise. I think they just need to, because vehicles is cool. It's what you're riding. It's not an equipment. Right. Equipment is perfect because it's showing like a weapon that somebody has, right? So you need them to do something. And I think vehicles do something. They just got to find whatever balance is going on.
They just need to do better.
I don't, because again, they could be really good if they costed them too good. They don't want to wreck standard, and totally understandable.
Okay. Let's get to it. My number one pick is actually going to be unlicensed hearse. That is.
Is it?
Yeah, I was taking that one to start off.
All right.
Unlicensed. I'm gonna have to make sure I check things off. So we're going to announce the lineups afterwards too. I just have to make sure that my sheets match up here. All right, Lowry, what is your number one pick?
You're getting the pressure on me now. And so I think it'll be interesting. What am I picking? Is that it? That's all I'm going for? All right, I'm gonna go with Smuggler's Copter. I'm gonna go that way.
I put that one way down there.
I think there's gonna be like emotional attachment with it because it was good enough to be banned in standard.
That was my number 7 pick is where I had that. All right, hang on. Let me get Smugglers is number 2. Smugglers. Okay. Oh,
I think
sorry.
it's
Oh.
cheap. I think the crew is cheap.
My
Draw
bad.
and discard is not a bad thing. It is on the attack and the block. So I think it's
Let me just get it up so people can
it's
check it
super
out.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't do the drum roll each time. We'll get it for the last picks maybe. Okay, so what was my number 2? Oh, mine are all newer because I really liked the check out my unlicensed hearse. Check out my sweet 2-drop artifact that's not a monorock. It's what Jeff was saying. My second pick is going to be Reckoner is it Blockbuster? Bankbuster. Reckoner Bankbuster.
Mm-hmm.
I like that card a lot. Let me pull that one up there. So that one is the 2. I guess we should have read the other ones too, but for those people listening, this is a 2-drop vehicle. It's a 4/4. It enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. You can tap 2 and remove a charge counter from it, and you draw a card. Then if there are no charge counters, you create a treasure token and a 1/1 pilot that crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater, and it has crew 3. So it's a pretty good draw engine there. Let's see, that was number 3 pick, so that is Reckoner. All right, Reckoner, got it on there.
And this is something that I was thinking about as well. It's something that I've been trying to like fit into Shalai and Halar, and it didn't make it just because I can proliferate the charge counters on it. But I was thinking if you like playing with
for you.
Stop. If you like playing with clue type speed draw, I think this is where it's at, because that's kind of what this is doing. It's 2 and 2 to like draw a card type thing.
Right.
Which is relatively slow, but it's also like perfect for casual. And I think maybe that's something else that I think is a bonus. I think vehicles are really good for slower casual kitchen table. If you want to slow your decks down, I think you use vehicles. I think that's a good way to look at it as well. Same thing with like clues or food. Not necessarily treasures, but
so
those types of cards.
What I'm getting out of what you're saying is to make your decks better.
I would just say build a better deck.
You take vehicles out is what it is. What if you don't have vehicles and your deck is just bad? It's not the vehicle's fault. I don't know. That was a stretch. I just wanted to hit that button.
It is.
I just wanted to hit the button, Lowry. That's all I wanted to do. All right. What is your second pick there, Lau?
All right. 4th overall pick. My second. I'm going to go with Sky Sovereign Council Flagship.
Ooh,
which is
that was
so
my
just
next
go
pick. That was
Was
my
it?
next
All right.
one. You sniped
5
it.
CMC for 6/5
Hang on, let me get it up there. Hang on.
No, I mean like I get to read it, right? I'm
No, I
giving
know.
you time.
I'm just getting
stalling.
it. Sky. Yeah, you can keep reading. Sorry.
It has flying, and then whenever it ETBs or attacks, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and it has crew 3. And so it's something that we're talking about. Like it has that ETB effect. It has a bit of evasion to it. It's kind of a big fat, 6/5.
Yeah, that's a big
The
beater.
crew isn't awful. Like all of these things are fairly balanced, but nothing's crazy. And I think it's a very fair but still repeatable effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so it's good. It can slowly kind of take over a game.
Yep.
And it's kind of wild to say that, but it's pretty good card. I've had it do work on me.
But you've never used it, is what you're saying.
I have not.
My next one. So my third pick. God, all mine are kind of newish stuff, and I haven't used these yet.
Right.
But it's not. What is it? Not gonna work. Nautiloid something rather. Let's see if I get it. There it is. It is Nautiloid ship. I think is how you would say that.
Yeah, sure.
Nautiloid ship. So it's 4 for a 5/5 flying. So again, the evasion on there. But when it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. So we got an ETB effect here. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card exiled with this onto the battlefield under your control and has crew 3. So late game, this seems quite nice because then you're removing somebody that had a lot of good creatures in there, and then you deal damage the next turn, and you get to take that for free because it's not casting it, you're just playing it for free.
Doing it for free.
So that's kind of nice. So that is my, what is that?
And it's Graveyard Hate.
Yep.
For 4, which isn't amazing. The crew isn't awful. I think I like crew 3 and lower. Because if you get into like the crew 10, it's like, Jesus. What am I doing here?
Yeah, that gets ridiculous.
And so I do, this was definitely on my list. So I like what you did there.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. 6th overall. My third pick. I think I'm going to end up going with is it okay? I have like 3 here that I like. I have a feeling
Black Eyed Peas.
I'm gonna go with Shikorai Genesis Engine.
All right, that one it was on my list. Was down to 13, but that it was there, so that's good.
And this is what I just complained about, but it's 2, a white and a blue, 8/8, and then it's crew 8, which is quite a bit. That's a lot. But you can pay 1, tap it, draw 2 cards, discard a card, and create a 1/1 token that crews for 2.
But this one can be your commander.
Also true. I don't think that's a bad thing, but like it has that that tap ability. It makes tokens that can crew itself. It's, drawing, which fits into that draw part. So it has a lot going for it. It might be, and I don't even like care about the crew 8 necessarily. This is something that I wouldn't feel bad just playing as a card. And again, it fits that spot of it's not amazing. You know what I mean? If this was like blue and a white with that ability, that'd be a card that you play.
Yeah.
And you don't have the crew and the vehicle or any of that stuff. It was blue, white, pay 1, tap it, create a token, draw 2, discard 1. That'd be a damn good card.
The bonus.
And so, but this at 4,
8, yeah.
Then you start going like, okay, this is okay, but it fits right in that realm of where I'm like, I wouldn't feel bad just playing this and not have to crew it. So that's kind of where it's at for me.
I dig it. It was in my 16, so it's there. I dig it. And Jacuzzi's going to be happy because he has, that was one of his babies to pick there. And
he probably influenced me on that too.
Yeah.
Like they started chatting up in the Discord today. And I was just going, no, I wasn't necessarily writing it down, but I was kind of going like, well, that might be better than I think it is. It might be better. That's a good point. So,
all right. So my next pick is actually, God damn it, I keep doing it. But it is going to be.
That's not a.
It's going to be Weatherlight completed.
That was the one I was good get. You got me.
Hang on, let me write that down. Weather. Okay.
I wanted that one.
Complete. Okay, so it is a 2-drop for a 5/5. It has flying, and then as long as Weatherlight completed has 4 or more. We liked this card when it came out when we were previewing and stuff. But as long as there's 4 more Phyrexes counters on it, it's a Phyrexian creature in addition to its other types. So this one does not have the crew part to it. You get it once you get counters on it. But whenever a creature you control dies, put a Phyrexes counter on it.
Irises. You're right. But I'll hit the button.
Thank you.
She can't even read.
Then draw a card if it has 7 or more. So that's quite a bit. But if you're playing a deck that you're killing off your creatures, you can probably hit that pretty quick. If you don't, otherwise you're scrying 1. So when your creatures die, you scry 1. This is only a 2-drop. And then it's a 5/5 scrying, drawing. If you're doing a lot of aristocrats sacrificing your stuff type things. And then once was it 4, did I say? Yeah, 4. Once 4 creatures have died, turns into a 5/5 flying creature. So I think this one's pretty sweet.
Here's a question. I think it's a good one too. but this one feels more like an artifact,
Right,
and
because it doesn't
then
have the
a
crew.
creature.
Right.
Right. Do you think vehicles should have to crew in some way? And then you could turn it into, then it turns into a creature later on. Like this. I understand there's only so much space on a card though too. But this is one that where I like it. I agree. It's something that you would just play as an artifact.
Mhm.
It's maybe
It doesn't
a
fit
little
in
convoluted.
the
but-
tapping my creatures to make it do stuff. It fits in the completely different style. Like this is not going in Magda because it does not help. This goes in a specific deck. So yeah, it is a little bit skirting the line, I guess. It could have been, like you said, just an artifact and not have vehicle on there.
Yeah.
But they wanted to complete the Weatherlight. They wanted it completed.
I think it's perfect. Again, flavor wise, I love it.
All right. Your next pick, which would be
Halfway
your
through.
fourth
Jesus,
pick.
this goes fast. 16 makes it rough.
Yeah, I know. It's,
Like,
you gotta
kind of hard. Yeah, baby.
yeah.
I think nobody really mentioned this, and I was kind of surprised. It's kind of like the biggest, baddest one, in my opinion. Let's go with
I
that
know what
one.
you're going with.
Yeah, Parhelion 2?
Actually, Travis mentioned it. Yep.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He spelled it
Atta
wrong
boy,
in
Travis.
the discard at first. It probably auto corrected for him, and then he.
Well, that's a
redid
magic
it. Oh dang it! Is it H-E? Not two L's.
Parhelion.
Yeah, I did double L.
I put so many magic cards in there that it doesn't recognize normal words. So, but for normal people, magic cards are auto corrected in their text messages, I'm sure. So this is 6 and 2 white for 5/5 flying, first strike, vigilance. Whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking, and it has crew 4. This is doing a lot. It's strong. It's hard to kill with that first strike and vigilance. It's
my only issue with it is it's 8, but
8 to come out.
But for
that
what it
crew
does,
4 ain't bad.
yeah, for
Like,
what it does, you get 2 Sarah Angels attacking that have vigilance, flying vigilance, and all that. Like, yeah,
this is one of them where I'd be like, shit, this would be crazy if this had haste.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat. Then you'd be like, whoa.
That'd
But
be
again, that's a
stupid.
knockout punch at 8. Like, that's okay. When Avenger of Zendikar comes down, everybody's going, whoa.
Yeah.
And when Craterhoof Behemoth hits, that's the game ender type thing. And that's the realm that you're working with.
But
and so
when those hit,
I think
you
it'd be okay
typically
if this had
are.
haste.
Well, oh yeah, I guess you're right. If it did, but I was gonna say that's where this is different. Is those come out and it's like game ender. This is like, whoa, it came out. Next turn, watch out.
Right. Yep.
This turn,
And-
you're okay.
And I think that's part of the problem with vehicles.
Hmm.
But still, like, this is a house.
All right, I'm going off the board
So-
on this one. This one's. I'm going against whatever I pick here is going against this, and I have an advantage because I'm writing.
This
it
is
down.
your Elish Norn Grand Cenobite pick?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that could take it down.
You doing matchups now? You're gonna look on back.
No, it's.
Do you think it can beat Parhelion? That's the pick right there.
I'm gonna make a battle right here because this will be actually kind of fun.
No, battles aren't in this. This is a vehicle.
I'm gonna do a Sika's Chariot on this.
Ooh, I'm glad you picked that.
I didn't have it on my list of my top 16, but I think that'd be a kind of a interesting battle there because hang on, let me write it
Making
down.
tokens.
Yep, it's making tokens when it hits. Yours is making it after it does it, but then this makes more tokens when it attacks, and you can crew it with the 2/2s that you have. The 2/2/2 cats, meow, and people like cats, so I'm hoping maybe.
And this was a stud in standard.
Yep, and that's why it's actually the most popular vehicle.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the most.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
well, it's just because it was in standard used it so much. So, I think that's why it's considered the most popular.
I wish they would cross contaminate their keywords. Like, this should just say populate a creature when it attacks. Right? Or populate a token.
Populate, yeah.
Populate when it attacks. That's what it should say.
Copy
Right?
of target token. Yeah, they just, but yeah, new people don't know what populate is. I guess maybe, but they.
I don't care.
If you made a
I
word
don't
for
care.
what this is doing,
When
then
I
do it.
type in populate to Scryfall, why
This
doesn't
will not
this show
pop
up?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's what I want. Maybe they're doing that on purpose. But okay, a good choice. Good choice. I'm fine with it.
Making
I'm
it
okay
difficult
with it.
for us to build decks is what it is. All right. Your fifth pick.
My fifth pick, number 10 spot. It's going to be going against Weatherlight Completed. This is kind of tough.
Oh,
I
how
think-
did you know that? Do you have your little chart up right now?
Well, I'm going from 1 to 16, and I know how tournaments work.
Oh,
I'm gonna-
good for you.
That wasn't a
Oh,
that wasn't a diss on
good.
you.
For you.
Just stating a fact. When
It
I was in
sounded like
school,
such
we
a
did a
cocky
whole
right-
class on it. So
Oh, he's such a cocky guy, and I know how tournaments work, Adam. It's
this is why teachers hated me, because I just stated things and they thought I was being a cocky asshole. I'm gonna go with Cultivator's Caravan.
wow, you sniped it. That's
There we go.
That's
Was it
actually-
getting in the range for you?
it was in my 10th pick. Like the number 10 spot is where I had that one. All right, hang on.
Right there. Look at us. Look at us.
Cultivator.
Okay, so this is 3 mana for a 5/5,
Let me get that
crew
up.
3, and then it taps to add 1 mana of any color. Simple, great, like adds mana.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
a 5/5 ain't nothing to cry at, but it's nothing to ignore either.
Yeah. It's a 3-drop
and so-
mana rock that gives you any color mana, and it does it the first
Right.
turn it comes in because it's not a creature when it enters. If you change it into a vehicle or change it into the vehicle, then you can't tap it for stuff, but you can tap it right away for mana. It's a good card. I dig it.
Yep.
Cultivator.
Now we're getting into this. I don't think we're gonna have any crossover.
Okay.
It's starting to get a little iffy.
Well, you got rid of my page 2. That was the only one on my page 2,
Good.
but I liked it. Okay, so this is my 6th pick. What do we have open still? Oh, okay. What am I going against?
This is against Shorikai.
Is this 11th pick? Yeah, you're right. I don't remember what Shorikai. Oh, that's the commander. Okay.
I just stated I know how to do
yeah,
tournaments.
I know how this works.
Why don't you believe me?
Mine is gonna be another new one as well. It's a Mectitian whatever core. Hang on.
Mech Titan Core?
Mectitan. There we go.
Yeah, you read that.
Titan.
Do you want me to? I can.
I
2
got
mana
it.
for
There it is.
2/4.
I got it.
Crew
I got it.
2.
Crew 2. You said 2/4, but you can tap 5. We liked this card when it first came out too, but exile, you tap 5, exile Mectitan Core, and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. Create a Mectitan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. That's all colors. When this token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So the cool thing with this was when we talked about when this came out in Kamigawa, is it leaves battlefield. So it doesn't matter if it gets exiled. It doesn't matter if it gets destroyed. As soon as it leaves the battlefield, the things you remove come back. And if they have ETB effects, you might get those again. Let's just say they're just normal artifacts like mono rocks or whatever. That's fine. You're getting a 10/10 flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, haste. That's all colors. Just it's
So-
a good card.
This is one that I definitely have tried to fit into decks. And for me personally, it hasn't worked because it's so specific with like
Right.
artifact creatures or vehicles.
Yeah.
So we already had the conversation. There's not going to be a ton of vehicles within a deck, more than likely. And it doesn't have any ability that it's doing. And so it's going to sit there until you have the proper amount of things to get rid of at 5 mana. And so, or the crew 2, I guess. But it's been tough.
I
It's
think-
on my list.
I think
it was
the
on
Crew
my list.
2 probably
So-
doesn't happen very often.
Right. The 2/4 doesn't do much. It's
yeah.
more of a blocker at that point.
Right. So with
And
this,
it's not bad.
it could make it into the mirror deck, but I have too much other stuff going
It seems
on.
like so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point, Jeff. If this was a commander,
Yeah,
I'd
make
be
it
happy.
legendary. Yeah.
That would have been really fun. And I feel like it should have been legendary because it's creating basically a Voltron type creature.
Right.
So
All right, your number 6 pick. We're getting down to the end here.
I'm this one's off the board probably. I don't think this. I like it. Okay, what's it facing?
It is facing
your
not
ship.
not a Lloyd thingy, the exile in the graveyard.
Not a card. No.
Not gonna work
Not a
here
Lloyd
anymore?
ship. So this is number 11. Oh no. Nope. What'd you just say?
The
Mech Titan. I didn't write it down. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Titan core. Okay, I'm gonna go with Horde Hauler, which is 3 in a red for a 5/5 crew 3.
Is that why
Has trample.
Is this why you were like, oh, that no, it was a different card you were talking about. Was this when we were just talking? You're like, there's that one vehicle that we talked about that I was one of my favorites that I can't remember the name, and I'm like, you sneaky little bastard. No, this one was not on my list. So.
No, this wasn't that.
All right.
Okay, so it's crew 3 for a 5/5 trample, and then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token for each artifact they control.
Yeah, I tried to get this in Magda, and I just couldn't. I do like the trample.
Well, I think
it
you're
just needs
creating enough.
Yeah,
I think you're creating enough
no,
treasures
I
in
think
there.
this was right on the radar of getting in there. I like that.
Right.
People play a lot of artifacts, man. I'm just trying to find where it is on my
I think
list.
it's a really cool card. It's not something that I've considered for a lot of decks, but like it feels crazy if I had like a Mycosynth Lattice in play and everything they had was an artifact and you're able to get in.
Oh yeah.
And then you make a ton of treasures. That sounds
Where
good.
is Horde Hauler?
Horde Hauler.
This is on
What do
my
you mean?
5th page of my draft book here. I don't.
That's all
I'm
right.
not
You don't even have to cross it off. It
finding it.
wasn't even a worry.
I
There's 2 more
guess.
picks apiece for us. What do you got? This is one that I just liked. That's where we're at right now. I'm not worried about you stealing anything from me.
All right.
I got like 1.
I just have to decide what I want to do with these. Let's just go with the Weatherlight. That's what I'm gonna do. Weatherlight.
Oh, I didn't even have that on my list. Okay, glad you picked that one.
There we go. Forgot the ER. Weatherlight. Where are you? The Weatherlight. So it is for 4 for a 4/5 flying legendary artifact vehicle. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card from among them. Historic is artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. And then you can put it in your hand and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, or a random order, sorry. It has crew 3. So has evasion for 4, and when it deals damage, you look at the top 5. You're probably playing any of those 3 things in this. It's not in my Tom Bombadil deck, but it seems pretty decent for a vehicle.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why aren't you?
Why am I not playing it?
Right.
Check out the video and you'll find out
'Cause it's
exactly.
bad. Well, I'm just saying.
Check out the
there
video
ain't-
because there isn't even a soul ring in that deck. So if that tells you anything, I don't have.
Seems like
that.
a bad deck. I would just say build a better deck.
Oh, because soul ring makes it good. Come on, meow. Was that the number 13?
Fair.
Yeah, it was number 13.
All right. Okay, so I have 2 more picks. You have 1 more pick. More damage each. Actually, I kind of like that one. Okay, I'm trying to plan out my 2
Mm-hmm.
right now. I think that's where we're at. I like that though.
I still can't find the last pick you had on my list at all. I don't
Horde
think
Hauler, you didn't have to put it on there. That's fine.
it's just not on there. Oh, there it is. Found it. All right,
I
Larry.
have 3. I probably have 3 that I really like. Maybe 4. I'm getting rid of the others. Okay. Down to 4.
You're supposed to do this ahead of time. What are you doing?
Yeah, you would think so, but this is called creating tension. And I do it.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Shit. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do for my last pick.
Hey,
As long as you don't snipe it.
There's 4 that I really like. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Do we have a Warhammer pick yet?
No, we do not. Oh
Okay,
no, or was that one that Nothoid? Was that Warhammer or no?
No, that was Commander's Boulder's Gate.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go Warhammer. That added a lot of vehicles. I'm gonna go with Knight Paladin. 5 mana for a 6/6 trample. Crew
Knight?
1.
Is it Knight as in the
ANIGHT?
It's the K, like that.
Yep. And so it's 5 mana for a 6/6 trampler. Crew 1, and then when it ETBs, deals 4 damage to each opponent. And to me, the 5 mana to deal 4 damage to each opponent is reasonable. The crew cost is super cheap, and a 6/6 trampler 4/5 crew 1 again is really cheap. It's blinkable. It's like direct damage, so you have many enhancers that kind of like can help that out. I just think it does a lot, and it probably should have been picked higher.
Sure.
So I could not deny it. Get out of here. You put this in a Brago deck, and it's a game winner.
All right. So
Get out of here.
my last pick is gonna go against Smugglers.
That's going
Copter.
against Reckoner Bankbuster. I think that's a respectable match.
Okay, sure.
Was this also not on your list? Maybe you don't
No,
know
it
how
isn't
to
on my list.
evaluate vehicles. Maybe you just drive around in a Chevy Nova. Is that what you do?
I'm so tempted to do Ibukaki's pick here, but it's going to definitely lose if I do that one. You know what I'm talking about?
So this is going to go against Smuggler's Copter.
You know what one what I'm talking about?
No idea. I missed that.
He was talking about Clown Car, which was actually on my list because we actually liked that.
It should have been. I avoided it just for that shit, like that shit post that he did. I remember now.
All right. I guess I'd go next on my list would be, I think, let me just double check. The problem is I pull this up and you get to see what I'm looking at, but I think I'm going to do this one. We'll see here in just a second. Is that really what I want to go with?
That was on my list, but it was canceled.
Yeah. I think it's going to lose to Smugglers.
It would. I think it would.
But Clown Car might be really funny to go against Smugglers.
That's a good one. I think I mean, it has an ETB that's making a bunch of tokens or making it big.
I'm going to do it.
I don't think that's a bad choice.
I'm doing it. I'm going Clown Car. Hang on. Let me get it.
You're a clown. Come
I'm
on.
doing it. Because that was actually on my list. It was number 12 on my list.
Right. I don't dislike it. I think it's a solid
I
card.
think it's the best bet I have to take down Smugglers. The other one would not win in this battle. But Clown Car is X for a 1/1 that has crew 2. And Lowry's favorite right here. When it enters the battlefield, roll an X 6-sided dice. For each odd result, create a 1/1 clown robot artifact creature token. For each even result, put a 1/1 counter on Clown Car. So basically, you're just either getting a bunch of tokens or putting a bunch of counters on Clown Car. That's it.
It's not bad.
All right, what are you going to go against Unlicensed Hearse?
Jesus. Unlicensed Hearse? I don't know if there's... That would... No. Well, I'll tell you the last 3 that I have that I'm willing to do. Mighty Servant of Leo O.
What?
I don't know if that's on yours.
What is it?
It's from Boulder's Gate. Mighty Servant.
Oh, Mighty. No, I don't have that one on my list.
Then there's Cyclonus from the Transformers, the black-blue one that has Connive. And then the Omen Keel, which is the backside of a blue god from Keldheim.
Oh. Yeah, I don't have any of those on my list.
Good. What do you have? Just in case I want to steal it.
Nope.
No. Nope.
Nope. You go ahead and make your picks.
I don't know if anything's gonna beat the hearse. I think I'm gonna go with Mighty Servant of Liuko. Yeah, let's do that. 3 mana for a 6/6 trample, crew 4. And it's ward, discard a card, and then whenever it becomes crewed for the first time each turn, if it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures, it gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards until end of turn. And so, like, to me, drawing the 2 cards is super interesting when it comes to, like, you got to crew it with exactly 2 creatures. 6/6 trample is not bad. 3 mana to come down. Crew 4 is not bad.
Yeah, it's adding a stipulation though with that to get the bonus stuff, which is the
Don't
hard
try
thing.
and put my cards down. Don't do that. So I mean,
guess you need all the help you can get
unlicensed
here.
hearse. I think it's going to be trouble, but I like it, and I'd like to get it on the radar of people because it at least fits in one of those categories of like it draws you cards.
Mm-hmm.
Unlicensed hearse, nobody puts graveyard hate into your like it's like a one of out of your deck.
Renshai
2.5 hour podcast.
I know I thought this was gonna be like right around that hour mark. I was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So here we go with the matchups really quick for you guys. The left side of the bracket is going to be number 1 unlicensed hearse going against this card right here, Mighty Servant of Leakolot person. Then we have Sika's Chariot going against Parhelion. Was it the second? And then we have Sky Sovereign. What is it? Sky Sovereign what? That one would be yours. Sky Sovereign Council Flagship going against Weatherlight. And then number 12, Horde Hauler going against number 5, Not Lloyd or whatever that one is. Not a Lloyd, whatever that one.
I don't know any Lloyds either.
It is Not to Lloyd Ship. There we go. Sorry, I didn't have enough room to write everything down, and I was marking things off. Okay, the other side of the bracket is Smuggler's Copter. So that is the number 2 pick going against Clown Car. Go Clown Car. Cultivator Caravan going against Weatherlight Completed. What is it? Reckoner Bankbuster going against Knight Paladin. And then McTitan Core. Is it McTitan Core?
McTitan Core, yeah.
McTitan Core going against that one.
Shorikai?
Shori,
I wrote this down.
Shorika, not going to work here anymore.
The white blue one that draws you 2 and discards 1 makes it token.
All right, so you guys will be able to vote. By Wednesday, you'll be able to start voting on all of these matchups, and we'll announce the winners next week and see who moves on. Let's get rid of those papers out of here. Let's move on to our next thing. Oh, I guess we do need to do the poll stuff. Let's I do have
good point.
Buttons. Let me hit our slideshow. So we did have that. And except this one we could get hit. Poll. Okay, a poll. That's all I'm going to do for that. Okay, so we had Growth Spiral last week.
Disney's aggressive.
Yeah. Going against Euro. Truth Serum is in. Larry, where do you think this shook out, and by how much?
I honestly have no idea. I'm going to go Growth Spiral, but I think it's going to be pretty close.
The winner took 65% of the votes, so it's kind of a little
further
landslide.
apart than I expected. I'm going to go Growth Spiral then.
Discord had Euro going a couple votes ahead, and Twitter only had 7 total votes, so there's that. But
Twitter.
Euro had 3 votes higher than you, and YouTube, which is normally our game winner picker of everything. It was a landslide. It went to Euro. Euro is the winner.
All right.
Huzzah! Let me get my
All
crown.
right.
Actually, I didn't think I was gonna win that one. I was like, oh damn it!
I thought it was going to be close.
I didn't think I was gonna win that.
I thought it was going to be closer than that, but all right. That's fine.
Get this crown on. Okay, so now let's get to the other part of this. The last segment.
Good for you.
Thank you. Let's see here. Where is it? All right, here we go. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right, if you guys don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowry is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes, you'll hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no, you'll hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He will get up to 5 wrong guesses before he is considered stumped. He gets up to 3 clues. If he can get everything about the card but can't get what the card name is, he will get the initials. If he has a bonus clue left over, or if he has a clue left over at the end, he will get a bonus clue if he still does not have the initials. Card needs to be in at least 10,000 EDH rec decks. And I believe that is it. This week's stumper is the one and only Ryan W. This is week 6, round 19. And if Ryan can stump Lowry, he will win a foil Karn, the new Karn, Legacy Reforged, and a foil proxy of Urabrask. Although I think Ryan is at the foil proxy stuff, so he could just order this if you're not order, but pick this for his.
It just
stuff.
means he doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore.
But it is a double-sided one, so those typically count as the 2 proxies because they are a lot tougher to make. So that is up for grabs. If Lowry does not get stumped, Ryan, you can sign the card that you picked and give it to us.
Which one was that?
You'll find out. Good try. One of these times, if I have enough malort in me, maybe I'll be like, bleh. But he can sign that or a basic land and send it to us, and they will make the walls. Lowry has his wall right there on his side. I have mine over here. I'm not going to turn my camera right now. Discord chat I have eliminated, but you guys can play along, so you guys can work together to try to figure it out before Lowry. Here we go, guys. And the new thing is the flavor text is on screen. So here we go. Occasionally, a scab. Is it scab? Scab? Scab.
Let's say scab.
Scab remembers too much of its former life. Luckily, there's an easy cure. Occasionally, a scab remembers too much of its former life. Luckily, there's an easy cure.
Is it an, not and?
Yeah, and. Oh, did I say and? There's and.
You're not
No,
saying
it's and. Yeah, it's supposed to be and. I just typed it in wrong.
Okay. Okay, so scab, SKAAB, is a type of zombie,
It's like
generally
what's on my
blue.
arm. Scab.
Scabs.
Right
Type of zombie, generally blue and or black from Innistrad. So is this from Innistrad Plain?
Hello, boobies.
I mean, that's different than sets. I'm saying it's from the plane.
Yeah.
So even if it's from like a commander set, it should just be from Innistrad. And so you have 3 Innistrad sets, then 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically, we have 7 sets of Innistrad, but there's plenty of other cards.
You'll see why I did that.
Occasionally,
and now I'm
yeah,
regretting that I did it.
That's
but you'll
fine.
see.
I don't think you have to. This is a good one. Is this blue and or black color identity?
Wrong, wrong, wrong,
Okay.
wrong.
All right, that's not
One
good.
wrong.
Remembers too much of its former life. Luckily, there's an easy cure. And so maybe it's like it could be a card like talking about like killing the zombies and like so the zombie is remembering too much of its former life and it's going into town and thinking it's still kind of itself, and so it's a card that potentially kills it. Red and green is more werewolves. White is more like the humans, the town. So there's potentially that. Let's go with the first clue, please.
The art features someone about to perform a potential deadly procedure. The art features someone about to perform a potential deadly procedure.
That's a good question. Okay, so I think so. It's not blue or black. It could still be colorless as well. I couldn't place where in the Innistrad sets of the 7 are. And it doesn't have to be in over 10,000. I don't think any of the recent 2 are going crazy, but maybe I'm wrong. And they don't feature scabs as much either because it's vampires versus werewolves a little bit thematically. Is this white and or colorless color identity?
Hello, boobies.
Okay. So if we're talking about like removal and we think like an easy cure as in like killing it or getting rid of it, that could easily be like a instant or sorcery type card, but it could also be like ETB permanence. I'm not sure on that. So let's go with a second clue, please.
The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
Can you repeat that, please?
The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
Repeat that one more time.
The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
Ordinary with no special abilities. Ruh-roh. Okay, so this makes me feel like it's a style of
Yep, Wrench, I
card
got it.
Attaboy, there you go. So there, it makes me feel like it's some type of like aura that takes away, so something like Dark Steel mutation or something like that just like strips it of its abilities, makes it a creature of some type. What is that second clue again?
The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
Ordinary is such a fucking vague word. Can I get a first clue, please?
I had it written a little differently, and then I'm changing clues as I go along to adjust things.
Yeah,
the art features someone about to perform a potential deadly procedure. And then the text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
Shoot. This can still be
And you have
an instant or like non-permanent permanent spell.
white or colorless is the hello boobies that we've gotten.
I think
This music's getting me amped up for
Ordinary?
Diablo 4 that comes out Friday. Sorry.
ordinary and loses all abilities. Is that what you're saying? That's the second clue?
The
Ordinary
text
and
makes
loses
the
all ability.
chosen become ordinary with no special abilities. I originally wrote, I coded it with powers instead of abilities, and I've switched it back to the other. That's why the ordinary.
Well, now you're telling me, so I don't know what's the point of switching it if you're going to tell me.
I'm making it easier for you because you're a little lost. Just kidding.
All right, so it loses all abilities, becomes...
See how I
becomes
do clues
ordinary.
is if you feel like you're really lost, I have different angles. There's like a tree, like it branches, and it's like, oh, I can try to bring you back.
That's fair. Shoot. Okay, so it's white
Third clue
and
is
or
gonna help you.
colorless.
Is going to help you. For once.
take a third
because
clue.
a lot of
I'll
times
take a
when you get to
third
the third
clue.
clue, you know everything. But
Yeah.
then you don't know the card name. All right, this card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks.
Okay.
Most played in Urza Lord High Artificer decks.
Okay.
This printing was from Innistrad Midnight Hunt, but the first printing was from Saviors of Kamigawa.
Interessante.
This card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks, most played in Urza Lord High Artificer decks. This printing was from Innistrad Midnight Hunt, but the first printing is from Saviors of Kamigawa. Let me go through the clues again.
So
The art features someone about to perform a potential deadly procedure. The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities.
okay, so this is colorless in nature.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Hello, boobies.
So it's an artifact. It's an artifact. Let's
Hello,
say that.
boobies.
So it has an idol. What? Wow. Nice job, Ryan. Nice job. What is this? What's it originally from?
Saviors of Kamigawa.
Saviors of Kamigawa.
Oh,
So it's
old.
an artifact. yeah, it's getting there. I mean, champions, saviors, and betrayers. Saviors is in the middle. That is the little like tent thing.
Yeah.
But man,
Well, like the it's like the Chinese lantern kind of thing or whatever.
lantern. Yeah. So it's an artifact that
Renshai says,
makes
"Get better, scrub."
right. You're damn good at this, Renshai, and we'd never give cards away if I was you.
Yeah, but if he picks the cards, we just easily get it. We, I mean you.
Fair. No, we are one, basically. Wow. Okay, so it's an artifact.
You only have one wrong.
That
So
was
you have
in
lots of guesses.
Midnight, but I don't have any real guesses. I don't have anywhere to go with it. I need to like. All right, it's Midnight Hunt, which is the wolf. I was gonna say Wolverine, but it's the wolf one, and then Saviors of Kamigawa is. I can't. Like I said, the lantern or tent one or whatever. But it's an artifact. I did not realize there was a crossover there. I'm out of clues.
He said, "I'm good," because I use Ask Jeeves.
That doesn't make me feel better. It makes it sounds like Ask Jeeves knows more than us. It's not even. It's got to be defunct at this point, right?
I don't know if it exists anymore.
I just don't think. I think it just turned into Bing. I'm sure of it. Ordinary.
The art features someone about to perform a potential deadly procedure. The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities. This card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks, most played in Urza Lord High Artificer decks, and first printed in Saviors of Kamigawa, although this one is from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. This particular flavor.
Repeat it again. Good. I don't know why, and none of this is sticking, and it's.
All of the clues again, you want? Or
Yeah, just do it all again.
Okay. The art features someone about to perform a deadly procedure. The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities. This card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks, most played in Urza. Was printed. This version is printed in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, but was first printed in Saviors of Kamigawa. Could not use that flavor because there was no flavor existing then.
This is a good choice because number one, it was Midnight Hunt came out when I was like moving. And so I didn't do a good job of that and the vampire set of paying attention to it. And Saviors of Kamigawa was like 2 years before I got back into Magic. And so I don't know either of those sets very well. And I think you got lucky. I don't think you meant to do that. I think you got lucky. And so we know it's an artifact. Neither of them are an artifact set necessarily, but I don't. Like equipment is just starting to happen, so I don't think that's the case with Saviors. Like Mirrodin Hat was the block before. And it was just happening. There's a couple of them, but you want to do this to an opponent's creature, and that's not what equipments do. And so this is
my suggestion. Maybe is to try to figure out the CMC. Like, is it above or below? Is it below 5 CMC? Is it above? You know what I'm saying? Try to get because you have no clue of where it's at right now. So now you might need a CMC to help you out.
So this either seems like a tap ability or an ETB ability, but it's probably a tap. Is this 3 CMC or lower?
Hello, boobies.
It'd be colorless. There was no colored artifacts at this point with Saviors.
Yeah, I mean, you already said white and yeah.
Yeah. Is this a does it have a tapped ability, activated ability with it?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Does it have an enter the battlefield trigger?
Hello, boobies.
Jesus. So it's 3 or less and has an ETB. I have 2 wrong?
2 wrong. Yep. You got 3 more to go.
It turns it ordinary, loses all abilities. It's colorless artifact, the ETB. 3 or less. I really doubt that it's 2 or it's definitely not 1. I don't that must just be until end of turn. Wow, I am so fucking lost here. Does it only last until end of turn?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
So it's as long as it's in play.
I was going to say, until that guess, you could have guessed the CMC between 1 and 3 to figure it out. But now that you've done that, like you have 2 guesses left. So the CMC game is going to be a little harder unless you get it on one of your guesses.
Right, but I don't know if that's going to trigger anything. That's the problem. That like I'm trying to find stuff that's going to trigger for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the CMC just ain't going to do much, I don't think. I would say that it's 3 CMC.
Is that what you're guessing?
Yeah, I'm guessing that.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
So it's 4 wrong at this point?
4 wrong. I thought you were going to say, so it's 4 CMC. I was like, no, it is not. I was just about to tell you, it's either 2 or 1 or 0 at this point.
Yeah, 2, 1, or 0. Wowzers.
Ryan, it looks like I'm going to be giving you these cards at SmithCon in a couple of weeks, along with your proxy.
So I guess it could be an equipment that turns your creature into ordinary no abilities, but that doesn't, the tap ability on it, which again doesn't mean that it's an equipment, very unlikely that it's an equipment. So it's an artifact that taps to make a creature ordinary, no abilities. I don't know this. I don't know this at all. 3 mana.
Not 3.
No, it's not 3. You're right. It feels like it's a 3 mana thing.
0, 1, or 2.
There's 0, 1, or 2.
All right, we go through the clues again while you're thinking.
Unlikely to be 0.
The art features someone about to perform a deadly procedure. The text makes the chosen become ordinary with no special abilities. This card is in a 14,000 EDH rec decks, most played in Urza. This version was printed in Midnight Hunt, but the first printing was Saviors of Kamigawa. And it is 0, 1, or 2 CMC artifact. That has an ETB
I have
trigger.
no idea. I'm still in the no idea realm.
I would say
I'm gonna go with, is it 2 CMC?
Wrong, wrong,
Wow,
wrong,
I
wrong.
am so blank on this. What is
Congratulations,
this?
Ryan. If I gave you it's 1 CMC, does that help?
No, none of it helps.
All right, here it goes. You can kick yourself. Pithing Needle. Because it has the it's not a tap. You added that in later where you're like tap to do its stuff. So it makes the chosen name loses their abilities. Now you're just staring.
I don't know if I like these clues. I asked if it was an ETB ability, didn't I?
I said yes.
Oh, and then I mixed it up.
Yeah, I
I
said
asked
it
for
as
the tap at the beginning.
Yeah, and then you said tap all of a sudden. I was like, what? Where did he come up with this tap?
I got
But
it
I'm not
mixed
going to
up.
correct you after that.
Right.
But yeah, you asked if it was ETB and you got a yes on that one. And so I was like, yeah, it has the ETB stuff.
Yeah, I still don't know if I like that second clue.
Oh.
But it wasn't going to happen.
Well, no,
it
the
definitely
funny
wasn't
thing
going to happen.
is the art part I thought was the giveaway. And so I made the second clue even more cryptic because I was like, he's probably going to have it off of the art clue. And so then I was like, it's a device that kills. I didn't say the device. The art features someone out to perform a potential. The device part is where I left out because I was like, if I say
Left it out.
device, you're going to get
Yeah.
it. You're going to get it instantly. So I cut that out.
Nah, I don't know if I would have.
Really? So then the text makes the chosen, which is the card name, become ordinary with no. I had it originally.
I guess the
no
ordinary
special
part is what
powers.
throws me because there isn't anything there that changes.
Well, because I was doing
what it is.
Right. I was trying to be cryptic so that you'd figure it out. I wasn't originally going to say abilities, but then when you were lost off of the first one, I was like, shit, I need to add abilities back in because that's why I say I have two ways of doing
I'm just saying
clues.
because like when you're saying ordinary and the other thing, like it's only doing one thing. And then I start thinking that it's doing
because originally
two
it was
things.
ordinary powers, so I was trying to take away the superhero angle is what I was doing with it.
Okay,
but then so I adjusted it to that.
Yeah, there wasn't any way that I was going to get there either way. So
I was hoping if you
good
got,
job, Ryan. Good
I was
job.
hoping if you got the one CMC that might have triggered something because there isn't a lot of artifacts with the one CMC.
It wouldn't have. Yeah, it just. I mean, to me, it's standard Planeswalker hate.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
And then
that would have been. It was going to be tough
earlier.
And there's so many printings.
This doesn't have like there's a bunch of printings that actually don't have flavor text.
Yeah.
So you didn't get flavor text until M10. And then it's that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, this was tough. Good job, Ryan. Good find.
and like
That
you said, it was also
great.
for Midnight Hunt, so that's also one that you were not kind of monitoring because you were that was when you were moving and stuff. So all right, so
Nice,
Ryan,
nice.
you stumped Lowry. You're gonna get these at SmithCon because I'll be seeing you in a couple weeks there. Remember to submit to get. Oh shit! Let's do the drawing right now. There's a couple people that I need to add in here. You guys will be in the next drawing. And basically what I do is if we forget to do the drawing, I just go off the oldest person on the list. Not oldest, but the oldest entry, I should say. So this one is going to be, hey, buddies. It's going to be Quinn, Demonic Mango.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So Quinn, we'll be announcing what we'll be doing next week. Normally the first one's going to be the proxy. So probably one of the new foil proxies will be involved on that one. And then if we get past that, we add some more to the ante. So make sure you guys submit those to either our email, or if you're part of our Discord, just shoot me a message with your entry and everything. All right. That should do it. We are under 2 hours, so yay, we did it.
Yay.
All right, guys, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Suck up.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs.
I was
I'm
so
talking
lost.
honkers.
I had no idea.
Love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I